Thank you everybody for joining. Glad you could make it. Uh, we have quite a bit to cover today. We are scheduled for 90 minutes, but we're going to try and make it as close to 60 minutes as we can. We I am muting everybody because we are recording and just want to make sure that we don't have too much background noise. Before I get too far, I'm going to get my notes up. Okay, so I'm going to start. Alongside Hope has a statement of our commitment to truth and reconciliation. So I will start with that. We affirm the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the calls to action of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, and take actions towards reconciliation in consultations with our Indigenous partners and colleagues. What you can expect from us today, my colleague Suzanne Rumsey is here. She is our public engagement program coordinator. She is going to share an introduction to PWRD or, alongside Hope and our work. And I will then talk a little bit about our volunteer network and how you can get involved and support alongside Hope. Then Jacqueline Tingle is going to walk us through a little bit of a tour of the website and where you can find some of the resources that will help you to, do the work that you have signed up for as a volunteer. We're asking if you can hold your questions until the end of the presentations. If you do have questions as they arise, just please do place them into the chat, and we will make time for questions and answers at the end of the presentations. So hopefully we'll have plenty of time. Then we will kind of end in prayer. So please do be welcome to enter your questions into the chat, or you can jot them down and ask them in the Q&A section. We are going to be recording this, and we are currently recording this, and we will send out the link to you and encourage you to be welcome to share it out as widely as you like in your network. So if there's other parish reps or volunteers in your community that aren't able to make it today, you're certainly most welcome to share it. The other thing is that we will be using a new refreshed introduction to Alongside Hope presentation, and that will be made available to you as well, that you're more than welcome to use in your parishes or communities. So you can just take the presentation, deliver it as is, or edit it as it suits your local needs, but we'll make sure that you have that available as well. I think that's it. Just apologize in advance. I do have a bit of a cold, so if I can't remember which organization I work for or go off track, that's what's happening. So you can test how many times I say the wrong name during this presentation. But with that, I will pass it on to Suzanne.
Thanks, Kim. And I think all of us on staff are still tripping over beginning with he and then needing to say alongside Hope. After saying PWRDF for a long time, it's hard to break a habit. Well, I've been tasked with walking you through a bit of an introduction that Kim mentioned to Alongside Hope. And so Janice is kindly going to run the slideshow. And as Kim mentioned, we'll share this with you. And one of the things you won't see, but what it does come with are some handy dandy notes for the slides. So very user friendly when it comes to making a presentation. Always, you are welcome, as Kim mentioned, to adapt this for your own needs and add your own comments to the notes. But we'd like to help you with at least a starting point. So let's begin. And apologies in advance if I'm sharing some information that's old news to some of you, but want to be sure that we're all starting from the same point. So we were established out of a bump in a coal mine in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. A terrible tragedy that it was actually the first rescue event of its kind streamed or broadcast live in 1958 to the country. And out of that came a response from Anglicans and other Canadians to assist the families that were impacted by that terrible disaster. Anglicans were very generous. And so a year later, at the General Synod meeting of the Anglican Church, the national meeting of the church, a motion was passed to establish the Primates World Relief Fund that was both set up to respond to disasters and also to the growing refugee crisis in the world. A decade later, the D was added to PWRDF. So you'll notice there we were first the Primates World Relief Fund and then became the Primates World Relief and Development Fund with a commitment to longer term development work and to partnership work with local communities and organizations. And interestingly, this was also the point at which a call came from General Synod to PWRDF to take on work with Indigenous communities in Canada. Fast forward to 2024, there's a lot we're jumping over, but we last year marked 65 years of supporting people, partners, and progress, and acquired a new name, Alongside Hope. Next slide. This is actually an interactive map that you can find on the homepage of our website. And today we work with partners in over 30 countries in Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and Canadian Indigenous communities. And we work in partnership with them on a wide range of both humanitarian and development programs. The majority of those address poverty, gender justice, and environmental concerns. Food security, preventive health, and microfinance are areas of priority work. And as I said, this map is available on our homepage. And when you click on those dots, you get a little write-up about the particular project in that and partner in that place. So a little bit about our new name. Alongside Hope emphasizes the active collaboration, partnerships, teamwork, and community aspects of the organization's work. It is a name that's complementary to the pursuits of the organization and speaks both to our aspirational and practical endeavors. Hope is a necessary element to the work. We couldn't do it without hope. And it must be partnered with actual resources to achieve that goal, that hope. It conveys the concept of partnership in a simple and uplifting way, walking alongside, as it were. It's easy to understand and pronounce. We don't have to struggle with primate or primate. And it requires no lengthy acronym or alphabet soup. In fact, we are asking, we have been asked as staff, and we're asking those who support us when you talk about us to refer to Alongside Hope rather than AH, or as I like to say, we are alongside hope. There was also a sense that this name de-emphasizes the colonial top-down approach of giving, that we give to those who receive, and rather emphasizes a more collaborative approach with the concept that partnership embodies. And we have a tagline that will come up shortly, or you can see it there actually in English: Anglicans and partners working for change in Canada and around the world, as an important honoring of our legacy as an Anglican aid organization. And we really feel that it's a name that's going to carry us into the future. And I think the next slide is a little animation of our name in English and French. Alongside Hope, Anglicans and partners working for change in Canada and around the world. And auprès de l'espoir, Anglicans et partenaires œuvrant pour le changement au Canada et à travers le monde. Next slide. All right, a bit about those resources, the money. You should have all received, and if you haven't, we've got copies in the office of our annual report. And these next couple of slides come directly from the annual report. The latest annual report we have is 2023 to 2024. So we operate on an April to March fiscal year, and the annual report comes out the following in September, October of that year. So the figures, as time moves on, the figures become a year old. But that's part of the way the reporting and auditing and all that works. So this pie chart indicates our revenue for the fiscal year 23-24. And you can see that 60% of our funding came from parishes and individuals across Canada. Bequests made up roughly 8% of funding, and about 4% came from interest and dividends and other sources. We also received 27.5% of our revenue from contributions made to the Canadian Food Grains Bank, of which we are a member and have an account at. So these are funds that were designated to Alongside Hope that are eligible from Global Affairs Canada for a match, which can be anywhere up to a 4-to-1 match. Expenses. It's the next slide. So how did we spend our money in 2023-24? We used about 20% for development projects, about 11% to support our humanitarian response and refugee work. 29% were allocated to CFGB food projects. We supported ecumenical partnerships that we'll talk about a bit more with about 1%. Program delivery, so all the work that is done in collaboration with programming partners, was about 20%. Fundraising was just under 5%, and administering all aspects of the organization was about 12%. Just a word on administration. This includes costs that are vital to ensuring that we are accountable for the funds entrusted to us. Just under, and I should mention just from the pie chart as well, that 2.5% of our expenses were used to engage Canadians. That's the supporter relations program you see down there in the bottom right-hand corner that Janice is showing. So about 2.5% to engage Canadians in the work. Yeah, and so a little bit more about financial accountability, transparency, and communicating the impact of our work. We are accredited with Imagine Canada, which is a national organization that supports the charitable sector in this country. And they support us through social investment, charity accreditation, public policy advocacy, and research. Alongside Hope is committed to delivering high quality development and humanitarian programming and to engaging Canadian Anglicans in this vital work. To do so requires professional staff and an office in Toronto, together with an ability to plan, monitor, and evaluate programs throughout the world in consultation with our implementing partners. In the not-for-profit sector, a good administrative overhead rating is considered to be anywhere between 5% and 35%. So quite a range. Alongside Hope's combined administrative and fundraising costs for 23-24 were about 17%, so sort of in the middle of that. When it comes to humanitarian emergencies, Alongside Hope does allocate 5% of donations received for administrative overhead. We get quite a lot of questions about the administrative overhead. And so we think it's important information for you to have about the how and the why of that. Next slide. So we have a strategic plan. Everybody gets really excited when we show this slide about strategic plans. It has 7 priorities, and this plan we hope will carry us through to 2029. Our last strategic plan was developed right before COVID, so it changed a fair bit, and this one may change too. But right now, our 7 priorities are placing partners and their priorities at the center of our work, strengthening our relationships with Indigenous communities by supporting Indigenous rights, voices, and programs, amplifying the voices of young people and affirming their role as leaders in social justice initiatives, committing to a culture of respect and learning among staff, partners, and volunteers, inspiring generosity through effective donor stewardship, contributing to the vitality of ecumenical groups and other networks, and supporting sustainable programs and humanitarian assistance grounded in human rights and creation care. And of course, out of each of those priorities comes plans, annual plans with objectives, goals, and detailed work plans. We use the word partnership a lot, and it's a word that means many things to many people. For us, at Alongside Hope, it's at the center of both who we are and how we carry out our work. So we're not operational overseas. That is, we don't have staff and offices outside of Canada. This is both a financial and a strategic and ethical choice. We're a small NGO, and we do believe that our partners are best placed to address the development needs of their communities. Our role is to come alongside with support in relationship with them and in consultation with them. Just to mention that this photo comes from Colombia and our partner Grupo Comunicarte, which trains citizen reporters in environmental journalism using a vast network of independent radio stations to spread the message in remote communities in the highlands of Colombia. Next slide. I mentioned earlier network partnerships that we support. We're part of quite a number of ecumenical Canadian and international organizations with whom we have shared values and a shared vision. So we're members of Kairos, a church-based coalition that educates and advocates on a range of justice issues. Action by Churches Together, or the ACT Alliance, which is a global organization of church-based development and relief agencies through which we program a lot of our humanitarian response work. The Canadian Food Grains Bank is a Canadian alliance of church-based agencies focused on ending global hunger. Cooperation Canada is a coalition of Canadian international development NGOs, some church-based, many secular, involved in policy and advocacy related to international development. The Canadian Council for Refugees is a broad-based coalition of refugee serving agencies that carry out education and advocacy initiatives. And the Anglican Alliance is a global alliance of the development and relief agencies within the Anglican Communion. I mentioned earlier that in the international development world, we are a relatively small organization. And so when we can work in common cause with others in these sorts of networks, it really helps us to, use a bit of a cliche, helps us to punch above our weight. Together we can do more than we can do individually as organizations. So a bit about our work. We remain committed to the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We don't program in, we don't respond to all 17, but we do respond to a number of them. And we do that in the following program areas that you can see there: health and healing, resilient livelihoods, creation care, Indigenous partnerships, and humanitarian response, both to disasters in Canada and overseas, as well as the humanitarian response to refugee situations and situations of what we call internal displacement, or internally displaced people, IDPs. So just a little bit of a word about each of those. This photo comes from the Panzi Foundation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which works with women who have survived gender-based violence, offers them a number of services, including training in developing income earning skills, and which builds their economic resiliency and independence, so that they can return to their families and communities. By providing access to and so more broadly in terms of health and healing, by providing access to trained medical practitioners and quality health information, alongside Hope Partners are making a difference. They're working to reduce and prevent child marriage, ensuring mums-to-be can deliver their babies safely with the best possible chances of survival and thriving. Programs also provide critical training and education to reduce gender-based violence and promote acceptance of LGBTQ communities. Our partners support survivors of gender-based violence with opportunities, as I mentioned, to recover their health and regain their dignity. Next slide. Resilient livelihoods. This is Mariluz Suarez, who is a farmer working with ECLOF, and alongside Hope Partner in Colombia. And she's showing us her potato crop there. In communities worldwide, climate change, conflict, and economic instability make it hard for people to earn an income. Alongside Hope Partners are able to support livestock programs in which goats, chickens, cows, and other animals can improve nutrition by providing milk or eggs, as well as meat. Surplus protein items or livestock manure can also be sold to increase income, which provides stability and financial strength for farmers. Many programs also provide instruction in beekeeping, which benefits farmers who can sell honey and support plant pollination. Agricultural programs teach farmers to use what we call climate smart techniques that also improve their incomes in contexts in which climate change is impacting them. Next slide. This is an image from Burgeo, a community on the south coast of Newfoundland, and the Burgeo First Nation, the women, the drumming circle from the Burgeo First Nation, who performed at the dedication of a new community reconciliation space, funded in part by Alongside Hope and St. John the Evangelist Church in Burgeo. Canada's Indigenous peoples are recovering from the trauma of residential schools, colonization, and systemic discrimination. In 1996, we launched an Indigenous Partnerships Program, which formalized, as I mentioned, support to Indigenous communities and partners that began in 1969. This work focuses on reclaiming language and culture. In 2015, Alongside Hope developed an interactive workshop called Mapping the Ground We Stand On to help Anglicans understand the legacy and injustice of the doctrine of discovery. In 2021, with the guidance of the Indigenous Program Advisory Committee, Alongside Hope launched a responsive grant fund to expand our reach to more Indigenous-led groups working in community health, youth engagement, environmental stewardship, and climate change. Next slide. Creation care. This photo comes from Kenya, where our partner, the Utuni Development Organization, or UDO, is working with community groups to build shallow wells with solar-powered pumps. Alongside Hope Partners are working to restore the land that has been ravaged by climate change. They provide training and tools to farmers so they can adopt nature-positive agricultural techniques such as water conservation and organic fertilizer. Partners also work to provide communities with clean water and improve access, including through the construction of shallow wells that use these solar-powered pumps. They're teaching young people the importance of protecting the environment and how to spread the word on local radio stations and other media. And they're encouraging Indigenous and rural communities to advocate for their local needs in the protection of their ecosystems, such as ending deforestation and mining. Humanitarian response. This image comes from the Philippines, where community members in Abra work together to restore clean water after their infrastructure was destroyed during an earthquake. We supported this project through our partner Cordis. In the immediate days after an emergency or a disaster, Alongside Hope is in touch with our network partners. I mentioned some of those, and these include the Canadian Food Grains Bank, the ACT Alliance, and the Anglican Alliance. In many cases, emergency response donations are leveraged through government matching funds. We're also in contact with any partners working in the region to offer prayers and to ask what support they might need. These partnerships help us to maximize our impact and your donations to make a world of difference for those whose lives have been affected. The support that we provide in collaboration with others includes food, shelter, and medical attention, as well as mental health support. Later funds can be used to rebuild infrastructure, provide training for income earning, and farming support to grow food. So that work from emergency response towards longer-term development. In Canada, the effects of climate change are intensifying as we all witness. Summer heat waves are leading to the increased risk of destructive wildfires. In fact, in 2023, wildfires destroyed 6 times as many hectares as they did in 2021 here in Canada. Tropical storms and atmospheric rivers have also become more frequent and more harmful and damaging. Churches are often in an ideal position to respond to the medium and long-term needs of the community. Through our emergency response efforts, Alongside Hope is there to help. Past responses have included emergency funds and trauma recovery in British Columbia, the Yukon, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and more. In terms of emergency response, parishes are encouraged to work with their diocese or spiritual ministry to apply for an emergency grant. And we work in collaboration with dioceses to help that happen. I mentioned that there's another kind of humanitarian response, which is to support refugees and internally displaced persons. So IDPs being people who have been displaced in their country. They haven't left the country, but they've had to leave their home to go somewhere else for safety within their country. This photo is of Hafiza Bibi, who was displaced from her home in Pakistan, so she would be an IDP, after devastating flooding. And she received vital food assistance from Community World Service Asia, CWSA, and Alongside Hope partner there. The number of people forced to leave their homes due to violence and war, climate-related crises, and food insecurity continues to increase at a staggering rate. We only have to listen to the news every day to know that. Many people cross the border into another country, move into refugee camps. Others, IDPs, still within their country, live in makeshift settlements. Alongside Hope works with our many partners on the ground to support refugees and IDPs living in these precarious situations, and also to support the communities around them who are hosting them by providing programs for children, health support, food and cash transfers, and opportunities to earn income. Families can maintain their dignity until one hopes they can return home. Next slide. I mentioned earlier under Indigenous programming, the Mapping the Ground We Stand On workshop. In 2015, Alongside Hope responded to the final report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission by developing an interactive education for reconciliation workshop called Mapping the Ground We Stand On, or the mapping exercise for short. It offers opportunities for participants to explore Indigenous presence and settler arrival on Turtle Island or Canada. And it examines the doctrine of discovery, terra nullius or empty land, and Indigenous knowledge. In 2019, 2022, and last year, 2024, a national network of mapping exercise facilitators was trained. Faced with the shutdown of in-person workshops due to COVID, Alongside Hope developed an online version that our facilitators are also able to offer. And our website has information about how to book either sort of workshop, be it in person or online. And I commend that resource to you. Giving to Alongside Hope. There are a variety of ways to give, and the first one being the collection plate on Sunday morning at your parish. Online, and we'll be looking at our website in a little bit during this webinar. Online, you can see this is our Give Today page, and offers you opportunity to donate online and to choose where and how you'd like to direct your donation. As you can see, there's a note and an arrow there to a button that Janice is circling there that allows you to donate to where the needs are greatest, which is a general donation. But there is also an opportunity for you to designate your donation to any one of these appeals. So as you can see there, we've got Gaza and the West Bank emergency appeal, our ongoing international emergency work, our Indigenous programs, our programs involving creation care and climate action, work with youth, in Canada emergencies, the response to the ongoing war in Ukraine, to our account, our equity account at the Canadian Food Grains Bank, and to sustainable partnerships for health, food security, and human rights. And I think that's it for me, Kim.
Yes.
Who am I passing to now?
You're passing it to me. You're good.
Oh, okay, over to you.
So Janice, just give me a minute to talk a bit about our network before you put up the next set of slides, probably, so it's not distracting. I am just going to tell you a little bit about our volunteer network. We're very grateful to have a strong, dedicated network of volunteers across Canada who help us to fund the work of our partners and to share stories of Alongside Hope work. So this network includes Our board of directors, which is made up of, I think, 15 members who are both lay and clergy from across Canada. They provide oversight, support strategic planning, develop policies, and ensure fiscal health and sustainability. All the bucks. Our diocesan representatives are a liaison between Alongside Hope and the dioceses. They share stories, they educate Anglicans, they support fundraising efforts, and they nurture the network of parish representatives. So if you are a parish rep, you will want to be connecting up with your diocesan rep and vice versa. Um, we have a youth council, which is made up of, I believe, 14 members from across Canada between the ages of 16 and 30. Pardon me. Um, they develop promotional resources and educational kind of workshops to engage young people in the work of Alongside Hope. We have 15 trained facilitators who offer the Mapping the Ground We Stand On workshop that Suzanne mentioned earlier in the presentation. And we also support a group of refugee coordinators. They're not Alongside Hope volunteers, but they work for their diocese. For the dioceses that have sponsorship agreements with immigration, IRCC, so Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. Uh, uh, 14 of the dioceses are sponsorship agreement holders, and we support those coordinators with kind of a community of learning, as well as in their advocacy efforts. We're also blessed to have a large number of parish representatives and other volunteers who keep Alongside Hope in the hearts, minds, and prayers of Anglicans across Canada. When people ask how to support Alongside Hope, we often say pray, act, and give. And here are a few ways that you can do just that. So Janice, yep, got the thing up. So pray. We have Praying with Alongside Hope, formerly known as Praying with PWRDF. It's usually on the second Thursday of every month, and we have quite an online, as we call it, our online parish. We've really come to know each other and built some communities. So, pardon me. We do have reflectors that are sometimes clergy, sometimes volunteers, sometimes partners of Alongside Hope to kind of share about the work that's happening. And we, of course, pray together. You can hold an Alongside Hope or Refugee Sunday. We have resources for both, worship resources, including bulletin covers and a full-on liturgy for a PWRDF Sunday, or some resources that you can use to host a Refugee Sunday. With any of our resources, you can use them in whole or in part, depending on what works for your local situation. We have our Lent and Advent resources. Currently, we're in Lent. We offer resources every year that include a daily email devotional, I guess, that includes a reading, reflection, and prayer, and usually some linkage to Alongside Hope stories. You can use those individually, or you can print out the entire document and use it for Bible study or group situations. And the photo here is Jonathan Rowe, Reverend Jonathan Rowe, who's the writer of the current Lent resource. ACT. So the Wild Ride, you can participate in our signature peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. This is an opportunity to turn your passion into funds to support refugees and internally displaced people. It runs from Refugee Day, which is in June, through to Thanksgiving Day in October, and folks can sort of do their own challenge or activity or event as a group to raise funds, and it's a ton of fun. We can tell you some of the stories about that. Monthly webinars like this one. So we offer monthly webinars um, to kind of highlight the work of Alongside Hope and our partners, and some of the issues that our partners face around, the need for humanitarian relief, international development, climate change, and other kind of emerging issues in the world. Creation Care learning modules. We've created over the last 3 years or 4 years a number of learning modules related to what we're calling Creation Care Climate Action. They highlight a number of stories about the work of our partners, videos, conversations with our partners, Bible study, and ways that you can get involved and take action. Currently, those are on the front page on our homepage that Jacqueline will show you. There are 10 of them available. You can do them one at a time, in whole or in part, or you can take on all 10. It's up to you. But we would really like to see them continue to be used. Advocacy campaigns. So we do work with networks, as Suzanne described earlier, like the Food Grains Bank, Cooperation Canada, Kairos, and sometimes the ACT Alliance um, to advocate to policymakers around different issues. Currently, we're in a situation where the foreign aid is under threat, or overseas aid. We're seeing impacts from the cuts to U.S. aid, and we want to make sure that we get our voices heard to avoid any similar situations in Canada. And of course, we're in an election campaign right now. So we will be offering a webinar next Wednesday, the 2nd of April, that will describe kind of the impact that the cuts to aid have had on our partners, as well as what we're planning to do to reach out to our candidates in time for the election, and ways that you can also get involved and help to advocate around the need for overseas aid. And as well, we sent out just a note yesterday. We are doing an appeal to support partners that have been impacted by the cuts to aid, and uh, that also has the invitation to the webinar. So, um, you can host a mapping exercise in your community. Suzanne sort of showed the picture, and we do have facilitators across Canada. So if you are doing work around truth and reconciliation, as we're all on our own different journeys, the mapping exercise is a really good way to learn about the number and the extent of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples in Canada, and the settler kind of history experience, and how um, you know the settlement of Canada has impacted First Indigenous peoples. So certainly be welcome to host a um, a mapping exercise. The photo in this picture is of young people that were involved in Hunger on the Hill, which is meet the candidates and meet the MPs effort that is put on by the Food Grains Bank. So that's an example of some of our work with the Food Grains Bank around advocacy. And Give. The World of Gifts is a very popular uh, campaign. It happens around Christmas time, but it is available all year round. I know a number of parishes and dioceses like to do fundraising campaigns, particularly around Advent or Lent, are quite popular, but whenever it fits into your parish, schedule. And the World of Gifts is a good way to kind of find a project and get some inspiration for what you might do as a group. We do have Christmas cards available. They can be ordered by individuals or for your parish or community. Of course, they're available around Christmas time. And parish fundraising initiatives are very quite popular. If you are interested in putting together a fundraising initiative or an event or anything in your parish, certainly reach out to our staff. We're happy to help you out and support you in all aspects of the planning and promotion of your fundraising initiative. So do reach out with any questions. And I'll pass it on to Jacqueline to show you where some of these resources can be found.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Jacqueline Tingle, and I am the Marketing and Communications Officer. If you don't know me, I see some familiar faces, but I work really closely with Janice Bean and Suzanne and Kim. We're all kind of a team. And so I'm just going to go through the website and some of the changes. And in my opinion, it's a lot easier to find the things that you need to find. So I definitely like it. But you're just looking at the homepage right now, and we have a banner that's going to be at the top. And this is usually our most important or not our most important, but one of our more pressing campaigns at the moment. So there's always going to be a banner there with a button to see more information about what we're doing. And then you're going to scroll down, and we have our top the header right here, and we've condensed it a little bit to be a little more straightforward. So we have about, our work and impact, get involved, and news. And I'll go into that in more depth in a second. But if you go all the way over, you have our search button. You have a button to click to find the World of Gifts campaign, and then you have the button that says Give Today. So those are kind of our top buttons. And then you scroll down and you're going to find these 6 buttons. And these are kind of our key access points. So you have information about our new name, you have learning about our partners, support our humanitarian responses, engage as an individual or with your church, read our latest annual report, or browse the World of Gifts guides. So they're just 6 buttons that are super easy for you to get to if that's what you're looking for. And then you're going to scroll down a little bit more, and you have our climate action education resource, our Creation Care. And it's super easy for you to access the modules by clicking on the button. And then this is my favorite part of the new website, but we have some stats that they're based on our 2023 to 2024 fiscal year. But these will be changing when we get our new numbers for the 2024-2025 year. So that's something that you can watch out for and see the numbers changing and hopefully increasing. But you keep scrolling down and you're going to see our latest news. So these are our top 5 most recent stories that we're publishing. These are also usually the stories that are in Connect. So just super easy for you to get to. You keep scrolling, and this is another one of my favorite parts of our website, but you have an interactive map to see where our projects are and what we're focusing on. And what's really cool about this map is that you can click any one of the little pinpoints, and you can see more information about the project, a picture, and then a read more that will link to an article that's been written about it if we have one. So we're in the process of updating that. It's a work in progress, but we're hoping to get it done soon. But there will always be updates on this section of the page. So then if you scroll back to the top and you click About, this is kind of just our general section for where you can find all of your information about Alongside Hope. We have our beginning story, where we're at today, our contact information for our staff, volunteers, board of directors, and then you have our annual reports, as well as some other information that you might need if that's what you're looking for. But then you're just going to scroll over to our work and impact button. And this is kind of where we keep all of our information about the projects that we're doing and our partners. So we have 9 squares. We have the Alongside Hope difference, health and healing, creation care, resilient livelihoods, Indigenous partnerships, humanitarian response, supporting refugees, public engagement, and relief and development reports. So this is where you're going to find a lot of information about our projects. I'll just click on one. And yeah, there's just some stats, there's some general information and what we're up to in those areas. Moving over to the Get Involved part, this is where a lot of our volunteers will find important information. You have resources, Alongside Hope at Church, join the youth movement, share our stories, Alongside Hope at home, volunteer with us, support our work with CFGB or Canadian Food Grains Bank, shop our world of gifts, and ways to give. So this is kind of our one stop for all of the resources that you'd probably need. If you click the resources button, and then it will take you to another page where you can access and kind of fine tune what resources you're really looking for. So say I was looking for some annual resources to order, I would click this button and then I can go through and add the order quantity that I'm looking to order. So you just keep going through, you can look through all of these and see how much you would need, order the quality or order the quantity, and then you would type in all of your contact information, your mailing address, and you could order them. There's also a printable order form that is a work in progress and will be updated very soon. We're working on it. If you prefer to print it out, write in it, and then mail it in or bring it in. And then our final section is our news section, and this is just where we keep all of our articles that we're writing about our projects, our partners, our volunteers, and pretty much everything alongside Hope News.
Thanks, Jacqueline. I think what we will do, and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point, we'll open it up for questions, and they could be about the website, they could be about some of the information more generally about PWR, Peter, alongside Hope. See, I did it, Kim. And about your own involvement with Alongside Hope.
Yeah, I have a question for Jacqueline before we take too much, but if you do have questions, just pop them into the chat or
Yeah.
be prepared. But so my question to Jacqueline, you talked about something called Connect. Can you tell us what that is and where they might find it?
Oh, absolutely. Connect is our monthly e-newsletter that we send out. And it basically is a summary of everything that Alongside Hope is up to for that month. We share our most recent news articles, as well as we tell you about different programs that you guys as supporters can subscribe to or register for. Let me just pull it up.
And meanwhile, as Kim said, if you have a question, you're most welcome to pop it into the chat or unmute and ask it. Raise your hand. Oh, look, there's one right now. Deborah's asking, what do you find is the best way to educate a congregation about the work of Alongside Hope? We share news bits in the weekly newsletter and put stuff on bulletin boards, but I'm not sure how much sinks in. Who would like to try and answer that question?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Sure, Jasmine.
Okay, so at my church, we actually, which is really cool, it draws a lot of people in, is we have this gigantic, huge map. It's like 4x6 or something. And then on this map, we have every single item from the World of Gifts catalog for this year, and then they're on the map and where they go. And I find that brings a lot of people, new people that come to the church, and they're just kind of like staring at this map. So I thought that I feel like that was a very productive way to get people involved.
Jasmine, can you send us a photo of that? I'd love to share that with
Yeah,
other
I can take one next time I'm
Yeah.
at church.
Yes. Jasmine's one of our super creative parish reps, so probably she can answer this question better than any of us, because I know that you've taken on a few different things. All of what you've described are great. I like the idea of adding it into the news bites of your weekly or monthly newsletter, because the more time it's in front of people, the better it is. Oftentimes, if you can, going back to the pray concept, include Alongside Hope and our partners in the prayers of the people, is one way that's gentle and everybody can pray, so it brings it to people's attention and interest. If you are feeling a bit more ambitious, you can host an event or use one of, whether it's the learning modules or the mapping exercise, but use some of our materials and sort of do something either at a time that might be a Bible study time, or what might be a kind of an after worship educational or coffee time. Sometimes people will have a meal and education around it. So there's all kinds of ways. One thing that we do have is our Under the Sun newsletter goes out 4 times, Janice? a year?
Three.
Three times a year. And what we like to do in that is include some of the, on the back page, we kind of what folks are doing in their parishes. And so you can get some really good ideas from stealing them from others. And we can always put you in touch with Jasmine because she comes up with all kinds of fun, exciting ideas.
I see Deborah anticipated another possibility, which is having a speaker come
Mhm.
to
Absolutely.
speak in your parish, and if we wanted a speaker, she asks, how would we begin to set that up?
Uh-huh.
And well, the first thing is to ask.
Yeah.
And there is a general email box, but also our colleague Abdi Ali, so ALI, Abdi Ali, at alongsidehope.org, manages what we call our speakers bureau. So if a request comes for a speaker, he will receive it and can then coordinate with staff about who could respond to that
Mhm.
speaking request. And Canada is big, so we can't always be actually physically necessarily present in a parish on a Sunday morning, but we can also we can join by, now that we have the technology, Zoom, or with a video that we've pre-recorded. There are various ways that we can join you. Of course, in person is the best, but we do want to respond to those requests in the variety of ways that we can. Janice has
something to add.
Kenneth has something to say. So two things. One, regarding the speaker, when Jacqueline was showing the website and she showed the I almost said it, the Alongside Hope at Church button, there's a lot listed there, and including request a speaker. So you can actually go through the website and it's a form. Rather than spending time on, composing an email, the form gives you the information, and it will go directly to Abdi, and it'll include the information that we need in order to process that. And then, thank you, Jacqueline. So maybe we'll so right there, request a speaker. There's a nice little video there of our fearless leader, Will. So you would click on that, and you can also indicate what area you are interested in somebody speaking about, which helps us figure out who the person is who we should ask, beyond geographical convenience. There might be somebody within a certain knowledge base. It might be your diocesan rep. It may not be somebody from the Toronto office who's able to come, depending on, of course, as Suzanne said, Canada's a big country. But there's a couple of other ways that I can just suggest for amplifying the work. And maybe, Jacqueline, you can pull up the Share Our Stories page. We have something called Voices of Hope. And this is a very brief half-page little narrative that highlights, every month we do it. Oh, let me lower my hand. Every month we we'll share it out in the e-newsletter called Connect. But they're also logged here on under Get Involved, and then it's under Share Our Stories. And so here's the Under the Sun newsletter that Suzanne was talking about. If you just scroll down a little bit there, Jacqueline, thank you. So there's the Voices of Hope in both English and French. And you can click on it. We have them categorized or listed by the month, but also by the area of interest. So you can see if you really want to find something from a certain geographic area. And so what this provides is like a very quick informational hit. If you're able to either read an announcement or submit something to go into your bulletin, or to go into an e-blast, this gives you the building blocks to do that. Or you can print it out and it goes right inside a bulletin insert. So we have lots of those, and they tend to be kind of evergreen. So even though, like, you might find something from 2 years ago that really speaks to the interests of your parish, and you can use that. And then third thing I was gonna say was, oh yeah, okay, our YouTube channel. If you have the opportunity to screen videos, or either to share a link again in an e-blast, or maybe in a coffee hour, you might be able to kind of, an evening event, have a video presentation. Our YouTube channel, if you go to the homepage of our website, I think it's down in the bottom. There's a big purple box at the bottom that includes all of our social media channels, and so you can easily find the YouTube link there. And you can screen a video right from our YouTube channel. If you don't have great access to Wi-Fi in your church, let us know. We can download it for you and send you the MP4. We have videos featuring our partners, videos of events like this, webinars like this. Really, it's quite a lot of information that you can access. And for example, who did ask? How do you get the information about where the gifts have gone? I mean, you can ask us specifically, but also by looking at our news stories and at our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see all the different recipients, all the different partners that we work with, and how they are using how they're using the gifts. Yeah, so those are three: Voices of Hope, YouTube channel, and what was the other thing I said? Request a speaker, just showing that.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, thanks, Janice. Yes, sorry, I
Okay.
forgot about the online form. I would say too, and I noticed a question about, kind of where to start. This is from Donna. I'm a new rep, and how do you suggest to start as a parish rep? And Janice and Kim mentioned the diocesan reps. So each of the dioceses that you are in as parish reps have a diocesan rep. You may know them. If you don't know who they are, we can connect you. And they are a resource to you in terms of promoting and engaging people around Alongside Hope in your parish. And you can also be in touch with us. If you have a wonder or need some help, we're at the end of both the phone and the email. So happy to be of assistance when you're in touch. But Kim, just on that question of
Yeah, I'll a couple
suggesting
of
to start, yeah.
pieces. Yeah. So one is, and I was asking Jacqueline about the Connect. So the Connect is our newsletter, as Jacqueline mentioned. It goes out once a month, and it basically features the most recent news articles, what events are coming up at Alongside Hope, and what resources are available. So one of the first things that you ought to do on the website is you can sign up. You can subscribe to our Connect, our newsletter. I believe it's right at the top of the website, Jacqueline. So that's like your best bet of staying kind of in touch and up to date with what's happening. You can also share pieces, like anything you see of ours, you can just like copy and paste and stick it into your newsletters. We also recommend that you connect with your parish priest, because what we found is the parish rep does that are most successful have the support of their clergy. So if you can talk to them, or if you have an outreach committee, or if you're part of the outreach committee, connect with them so that you can see where Alongside Hope can fit into the life of the parish, so that you're not sort of stepping on each other's toes, and perhaps you can get an Alongside Hope Sunday into the calendar, but clergy need time to prepare for that. So perhaps together you can sort of set what your goals are for the year, and I'd say be modest. Right. So take on things that some are small, and maybe you want to do one larger campaign or educational for the year. Like, don't overextend yourself. I know people get excited and they want to do all kinds of stuff, and then sometimes it just ends up being a bit too much. So really kind of think about what you can do, and sharing our stories and amplifying fundraising campaigns is super helpful. But again, start by connecting, again, as Suzanne said, with your diocesan rep, and also your clergy and outreach committees to see what's manageable in the parish. Talk to us and try and stay up to date with what's happening at Alongside Hope.
Donna gave you the thumbs up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not overwhelmed. Just, yeah, don't get freaked out by having to learn the website by heart because there's a lot there.
And there's no test.
Yeah, the Get Involved page is kind of where I think volunteers are going to hang out most of their times, where I hang out most of my time, because it has the links to all the resources and educational tools and tips. And we try and create things for you to make your life easier so you don't need to go and recreate the wheel, just see what's already there. And if there's something that you like or it doesn't quite make sense, just talk to one of us and we'll kind of help you to put it all together.
Thanks, Kim. Are there other questions or comments that people have before we wrap up? Oh, Inez.
What's the best way to, like, this has been great, very informative. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 6 months or something now. And I love how the new website looks. It's much better. Not saying anything negative about the old one, but this one's much better. Because I have to put something in the newsletter every week, and sometimes there wasn't anything very newsy, and I found the website rather static. So this sounds great. But I wanted to ask too, what's the best way to communicate with people? Because I did before Lent try to reach out to someone by phone, and that didn't work. And so, like, is there a directory maybe sometime? Like, if there's certain people I want to email, or is that just on, like, is there a contact part of the news?
Yeah, I
Of the
think our
website?
contacts are on the About Us
Mhm.
page, should have our staff, and I believe our
Yeah.
contacts are there.
Yeah.
If fails, if nothing else, I will be sending out the recording and the PowerPoint from today. So you will
Mhm.
have my email address directly.
Okay.
So I can be your first point of contact, but any of our staff generally are quite helpful. I mean, if you caught us just before Christmas, maybe we weren't around, but
Mhm. I think it was a
uh,
Friday afternoon, so that's
yeah,
always
it could have been that. And it could have been, we did have a bit of a thing when our email addresses switched over. I think I lost a couple and some went into junk. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but we try to do our
Okay.
best to.
Okay. I'll go through you, Kim.
We also, you remind me, Kim, we at one point, and it probably wouldn't hurt to update it. We
Mhm.
had a who's on first for what little
Mhm.
directory for our volunteers, a kind of
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
a two
The
pager
who you're
with,
gonna call thing. Yes.
yeah, who you're
We do
gonna
have it.
call.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's one thing to sort of give my name and my job title,
Mhm.
but it
Yeah.
also says if you
Yeah.
have a question about X,
Right.
call
Mhm.
this
That's a good
person.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I can include that
yeah.
with the
That
recording
would be
and the
helpful.
slides, actually. Yeah. So
Okay.
we do
Thank
have
you.
it, so we
Yeah.
can
But we
send
probably
everyone.
needs updating, I think.
I think it's been updated, actually.
Oh, has it? Oh,
Pretty
good.
close to right. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you.
Donna, you have another question. Just need to unmute.
I'm sorry. I'm
Mhm.
so
That's
slow.
okay.
Thank you very much. So I was wondering about the petition for the 2025
Mhm.
Jubilee. I think is
Right.
it
Oh,
out
right.
of Kairos or
Kairos.
whatever. Now, sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
You're good.
So we've started it at the church. I've got a few signatures. Like, how long should I leave it open is actually one of the things I'm wondering about.
Sure. I think the interest of the so the campaign, and that's one of the advocacy things that we're sort of working with some of our network, or the Kairos is doing the Jubilee 25, which is to basically cancel debts, to reorganize world finance system so that countries in the global south don't find themselves in uh, unmanageable debt, and to consider ecological debt. So just want to give a background on what that is. So there is a petition. I'm really glad to hear that you've got it and you've printed it out and you're getting signatures. The idea behind the petition is to be given or to be presented at the G7 in Calgary in June. So and those, I think, will be sent to Kairos to be taken to. So I would say just keep it open as long as it takes to, um, want to make sure that you sort of have time to send it in to Kairos and in time for kind of May, June. So perhaps maybe keep it up for Lent maybe that's something that sort of just sometimes it's helpful to have a beginning and an end, right? So maybe Lent is a good way to do it, and sort of after Easter, think about kind of sending it along. And if it's
Thank you.
getting interest, great. If it feels like it's getting, waning, then you can pull it at that point as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, observations? Inez again.
Inez?
Oh, I just wanted to add that the point you made about okay to cut and paste is great, because
Mhm.
I've been trying to paraphrase everything so I'm not like stealing everything from you. But if I can just cut and paste, because whoever's doing it is doing a much better job than my paraphrasing, and
Yeah.
that would take a lot of pressure off and time management off. So that's
I generally copy and paste
Oh.
Janice's work because she makes us all sound smart.
You can definitely,
thank
you
you.
can, you can definitely cut and paste, thank you, but, I will just say one little caveat about that is, you can't take a photo that's been published on our website, or any website for that matter, and put it on your own. Well, okay, let me back up. Mostly you can do that because mostly we use our own photos, but sometimes we'll use a photo from a stock agency that's been given to us from another, like somebody like World Vision or whomever, if we're collaborating on an emergency response. And some parishes have found themselves, they get into a little bit of a issue by copyright violation if they take something that we have permission to use, but they don't necessarily. So usually, like, if you're ever wondering, you can just ask me.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
usually, we, like 90% of the time, we use our own photos from our own partners, and so those, if you ask me, I would say yes. Here's the JPEG, but
Okay.
so that's fine. But I just want to give that little word of caution that you can't just take a photo off the internet and put it on your website, and that's what you would be doing if you didn't have permission. So,
Okay.
so sometimes, we're just working and trying to do our best as church volunteers, and we're like, what do you mean I can't just use that photo
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
website?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that people are aware of that. But yeah.
Yeah.
But if you may need photos like for a flyer or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Jasmine's incredible cut and paste skills to make a beautiful map, you might just want to have an actual JPEG, and I can help you out with that for sure. Jacqueline or I can help you with those kinds of things.
Yeah, like that map is awesome. The one that's
Great idea. I love
that is interactive.
Mhm.
Is there a way of putting, like, we have an online newsletter as well? Is there a way of transferring that in a
The map,
Like,
the map on our
That's on
website.
our website.
yeah, I love that, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's too big. I mean, just direct
Well,
people to
it's done through Google, so I don't know if there's an actual link,
Yeah.
but you could link the homepage of the website for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just ask
Okay.
people to scroll down.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
don't think there's a distinct page for that. Is there, Jacqueline? I don't think there is.
I think it's
Okay,
like an
thank you.
embedded Google map or something that's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think it's just on that
It's a
page.
plugin.
Okay.
Yeah, but for sure,
Yeah.
share the home, like, welcome. If you share the link of the website, that is the homepage, and so it will, won't be a big search for them if you ask them to
Right.
just scroll down. So
Dave, I see you've got a question.
It's mostly for Donna. Parallel to the Jubilee, in support of it, there is April 22, 29, 6 May, Robin Wall Kimner's book Serviceberry, and that's a coast to coast to coast webinar, and that would give some real stimulus because it is about the Jubilee, and maybe after the 6th of May, then finish off your petition, because you should get lots of traction over that webinar.
Right. Good point. Thanks.
Yeah.
David.
All right.
We go with the prayer, and
Are we?
just
Are we
note that
ready
this is
to
not your one
close?
and only time for questions. If you
No.
have more, you're going to have my email address. You can certainly send me an email, and they'll attach the who you're going to call, so you can call the right person. and ask all kinds of questions. So we're here from now as much as you need us. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining.
We like questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go, how about we end with a prayer? And some of you might have heard this before. It was written quite a number of years ago by Catholic Bishop Ken Unterner of the Diocese of Saginaw in Michigan. And it was written for a requiem mass for Catholic priests, but it just speaks so well to what we're about and to the ground we stand on as people of faith as we try to minister to those in the world who are Christ, who are God incarnate. No? So let us pray. This is what we are about. We plant seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces effects far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. And give us a shout if you need anything.